In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser, and today I have replaced Joe with a chap called John. John, thank you so much. This is John Maiden. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. Tell us a bit about what you do, because I don't think we've had any guests quite like you on the show before.
Okay, so I'm the founder of a company called Panjango. So what we're doing is we're looking to build a world of experiential learning that connects learning to life. So we often remember our days, say, in maths classes when we're at school, where we're learning algebra, and we don't really know why we're learning that. What we want to do is to demonstrate to young people how that learning is actually applied in lots of exciting ways in life after school, but then also to help young people demonstrate and develop the skills that they need in the modern world of work that schools just aren't really developing. So we're all about contextualized learning, developing the really critical skills for the 21st century. And crucially, we do it all through games because we want learning to be fun and interactive and meaningful for young people. And we want learning to better reflect the way that they learn in the natural and their home environment.
Cool. Well, that sounds fantastic. And it sounds right up my street, because I've always got a big old stick up my butt about education and how it's not really doing what it should do anymore. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, so how did you get into this? How did you come up with Panjango? What got you started?
Right. So my background's, I've always worked in different education settings, more in the creative education. So I ran an arts education charity for quite a few years where we used drama and the arts to bring about a wide range of learning outcomes with kids who become marginalised from traditional education, with young adults and adults who had failed to develop the qualifications that they really needed to succeed in life.
Yeah.
Use drama and the arts to reconnect them with learning, to make learning more fun and engaging, and to bring about lots of different social outcomes. I've also worked in school for blind and multiple disability children. So again, we had to try and deliver the curriculum in creative and more engaging ways, and take a very creative approach to learning in that setting as well. My business partner was an extended schools officer for Sheffield Council. So he worked in some of the most deprived schools in Europe, let alone in this country. And we were noticing the same problems. We were noticing that a lot of kids just didn't understand why they were at school. They didn't understand the purpose of their learning. They were bored with their learning, and they just weren't being adequately prepared for life after school. So a few years ago now, we set out to, firstly, to make careers education fun and exciting, and really to reinvent careers education because it's so outdated in the way that it's delivered. We often reminisce about doing these awful job matching questionnaires where, you can be a flying straight A student and it tells you need to be a swimming pool attendant in the future. Just ticked yes on a box on a random questionnaire. So there's those, and then there's just all these websites with reams and reams of information about different jobs and the precise qualifications you need to get to access those jobs. And in reality, the world just doesn't work like that anymore. We need transferable skills so that we can work across different industries. So that's what we did. We started to develop games. First of all, we developed a board game that just made careers fun and engaging and help young people to just explore the world of work in a broad sense without ever actually narrowing them down to choosing the one job that they have to do in the future. And that concept then, when we took that into schools, was validated. We got a lot of very positive feedback from pupils, from teachers, from parents, from business leaders, even got a government endorsement from the Department for Education. We really realised that we were onto something. But then the crucial breakthrough is when we realised that actually contextual learning was just so important that if we can show young people how what they're learning in school can be used in really exciting ways in life after school, then that gets them to buy into that education process much more, makes them more find learning more fun and enjoyable as well.
Cool. Can you give us an example of contextual learning and something that you've actually taken into a school and got them to do?
Okay, so we have our Panjango online platform. So it's got about, I think it's about 2,500 contextual challenges. It covers about 120 different careers. And what we do is we take the maths, English and science curriculum and we actually show people how that's applied in the world of work. I'm going to give you just one question from our new board game, though, because that's what I've got in front of me. Excellent. So here's just a very quick challenge from our new board game that we're launching. It's a number cruncher challenge. You are an architect designing a new home, and you must calculate the angles of the triangular roof. Two angles inside the triangle are 68 and 40 degrees. What is the third angle?
Oh, nice. Okay, so I'm not going to do that in my head, but but yeah, I like the way that's not just, yeah, like you say, it's not just an abstract question. It's relating it to something solid and that kids can kind of look at and go, oh yeah, I can see how that would be useful in the real world.
So when it's presented in a textbook, they often just get it written as a sum, but we're actually giving a real world context to that. I'll give you a science showdown one. So you are a crime scene investigator and you've been given a sample to analyse. The police need to know the type of cell the sample contains. When you look under the microscope, you can see a cell wall and a vacuole. What type of cell does your sample contain? Right. So them into that situation where they're the crime scene investigator and getting them to use their science knowledge.
That's really cool. I used to be a crime scene investigator,
Did you? Really interesting. You would know the answer to that one then.
I just love that idea. And how have you found that it's made a difference so far to the kids in schools that have been using it? What's the kind of feedback you're getting?
They're used in a lot of different ways. I suppose first and foremost, our original intention was to reinvent careers, and we're finding that kids are finding it a much more engaging and interesting way of learning about careers. They're also finding it very refreshing that they're not being asked to choose a particular career path, that it is just all about open exploration and discovering new opportunities and developing transferable skills that can be used in different careers. We're also finding that the contextual learning angle is particularly popular as well, that actually young people are seeing how their learning is used in different ways, in really exciting ways in different jobs. And then the skill development side of things as well. Again, we're finding that young people who traditional learning, traditional education doesn't really suit their way of learning and doesn't suit their skill set. But suddenly, given some of the challenges that we present to them, then they open up and they can suddenly thrive and be one of the better kids in the class because they're being measured by problem solving ability or creativity or leadership skills or team working.
Okay. And how have you been approaching schools? How have you been persuading them to take this on and try something different?
Okay, so that's to be honest, we're quite new on that phase. So we developed a prototype of our Panjango online platform. And then we distributed that to the customers of our board game and got them to use it. And that's when it really took off. We noticed that we had about 500 schools within about a 6-week period who signed up to the prototype version. And it started very, very quickly. And that was when we realised we were onto something quite big and we needed more resource to do it with justice. So that's when we started down the path of trying to secure investment, which was a long and tortuous path. It was about 2 years in total to actually secure an investment. But we finally did that through the Young Foundation back in June last year.
Okay.
About 6 months. And we've been using those 6 months to rebrand, to set up our website, to develop our new products, which includes a board game and some trumps games. We're currently in development, have an app in development as well.
Cool.
Looking to refresh and improve our schools platform. So there's lots happening, but really it's only really in the past month or so that we've been in a position where we can actually really start to promote things. So we're using all sorts of different channels. We're using a lot of direct contact with schools, trying to tap into different networks, whether that's like regional networks, meetings of head teachers. We're working in partnership with people like Prospects, who obviously have a national and even international reach to schools. And then we'll be exhibiting at the Education Show towards the end of this month as well.
That's exciting.
So trying to build our brand, trying to raise awareness in every way we can at the moment, but we still have very limited resources, so it's very difficult.
Yeah. Well, that all sounds really exciting. What are you planning on doing at the Education Show?
So we've got our first exhibition stand, so that's going to be really exciting. First time we've ever had our own stand with often just had a table on the side of someone else's stand or something. So it's going to be great just to have our own focal point. We just want to meet as many people as possible. We want to just get feedback on the products we've developed, hopefully sell some of those as well. Develop new partnerships. We're particularly keen to talk with distributors so that we can get the word out more widely in this country and beyond about the products we have for sale.
Cool. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. So is your target customer then primarily schools, or are you hoping to get it out into shops and work with parents and kids directly as well?
That was the crucial shift. So when we first developed our Panjango online platform, it was very much targeted at schools. And what we realised is that the demand was there to use the platform, but it's a very, very hard market to sell to schools.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is we want to get schools using this as much as possible. But to base the business model around that was going to be very difficult. So that's why we went for investment, so that we could switch the business model around and develop consumer products.
Okay.
That's why we're developing card games and board games and apps, where actually the paying customer will ultimately be the parent who has an interest in their child using their free time in a productive way, helping their child find their purpose in life and really helping them to fulfill their potential.
Okay, well, that sounds really cool. I've got to ask you, how did you come up with the name Panjango?
It's a credit to my girlfriend, actually. We agonised about it long and hard. We were initially called Work It Out,
okay,
which we were never particularly happy with. And then we found other things that were called that, so we needed to change track. And then it's actually, Panjango is a word in the Urban Dictionary. It means the boss or the leader. So you'd say like the big Panjango in head office. So we're helping young people to become leaders of their own journey.
Oh, cool. I love that idea.
we don't really use the meaning of it too much, but it just sounds a fun name for children. It sounds a bit gamified. We can give it our own meaning in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. I do like a word with a bit of meaning behind it as well, even if you don't kind of talk about it a lot. It's something that kids will probably Google and then they'll be like, oh, Urban Dictionary. Oh, a leader. I can be a leader. I like that idea.
Yes.
Okay, so gamification then. Can you tell us a bit about gamification and, how does it work? Why does it work? And what does the science say about it?
Okay, well, the science is quite sparse on it at the moment. There hasn't actually been that many studies done into the impact of gamification, but the ones that have been done unanimously show that it is a more impactful way of delivering learning. Gamification really better reflects the way that children learn in the home environment. They learn by doing, they learn by playing and enjoying things. And that's really what we want to do through our products. We want to mirror how they learn in their home environment. There's a lot of studies that show gamification mechanics, so things like leaderboards and reward systems, leveling up, that kind of thing. They provide really strong incentives to get children to want to learn more. So we're going to use those kinds of game mechanics as much as possible within our resources as well.
So it sounds like you're kind of almost piggybacking on what kids are doing already then with video games, with computer games, with that, leveling up. And it's like, well, if they're doing that already.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids spend an awful lot of time in front of screens now. They spend a good deal of that time playing games of different sorts or apps. We're absolutely looking to use some of those quite sophisticated mechanics that hook kids into the games, but do it for a positive outcome, where they're actually learning more and developing new skills and improving themselves as an individual.
Okay. It sounds like you're really bridging a gap then between, like you say, that is how, when you think about it, that really is how people learn is by doing and by making mistakes and all the rest of it. And that's what you seem to lose from what I remember of being at school. That's what you seem to lose is that kind of experience of doing stuff. You just kind of sat on a desk and expected to learn stuff and regurgitate. So are you finding that are you finding that teachers are starting to take that aspect of the game and take it into their lesson planning now? Is that something that you're hoping will happen? Is that something you've seen happen?
Bear in mind our Panjango for Schools platform is just still in its prototype phase, so we've not extensively marketed yet, but we have found schools are already using that and embedding it across the curriculum. So there are schools, for example, they're using it with each topic of science. What we've done is we've built a filter system so that any teacher can filter out just the topics, just the challenges that relate to a particular topic, whether that's maths, English and science, or a particular skill set or a sector, whatever it is. So we're finding some schools, for example, will use Panjango at the start or end of teaching a particular topic just to contextualize that learning and actually show young people how that could be used in different ways in the world of work.
Okay.
That's how some schools are doing it. Others are using it as a discrete careers resource. So they just do it on a careers day and they get the whole class or get kids working in groups. We're finding teachers are using it in all sorts of different ways, to be honest. And we've built it in a way that is flexible enough for teachers to be able to do that.
Okay. And what challenges have you found so far? Kind of, your face says there have been many. What's been your biggest challenge in kind of coming up with the idea and getting it out there?
I suppose the one word that's just leaping out at me is capacity. It's so hard to start and run a business anyway, let alone when you're trying to do something that is in a lot of ways quite groundbreaking. So you also then having to convince people to take a leap of faith and follow your methodology as well. So that's difficult. Working on a very limited budget means that, I'm having to do the operational side of the business and the strategy and the fundraising, everything else, as well as actually writing a lot of content myself and doing the product development myself. So yeah, capacity is the biggest constraint that we face. We have 1,000,001 ideas. When we talk about wanting to build a world of experiential learning, at the moment, we have a prototype for a schools platform. We're developing an app. We've got board games and card games. It's step one of 100 at least on what we want to develop. So yeah, we're looking to secure more investment that will really enable us to build our team, bring in more expertise, grow our capacity to deliver these exciting projects.
Okay, cool. And if I don't know, if you had any advice for somebody who was wanting to start something groundbreaking like you've done, what would you tell them? What would you tell yourself like 5 years ago if you could go back?
Wow. Okay. That's a really tough question. I think we were too reluctant to go to market. We felt originally that we needed something that was, absolutely like you would see on the shelves of a high street store, that kind of quality, packaged up to that degree with that level of design work. And I think we felt we needed all of that before we could actually go out with anything to market. And what we've realized is actually the market's very receptive of just having an MVP, a minimum viable product. Just something that just demonstrates a concept or something that has very, very limited content, but just delivers it in an effective way. So yeah, I'd have started quicker, I think. And I think we could have done this journey a lot quicker by just accepting that we could take something much, much smaller and more basic to market a lot quicker.
I love you for saying that, because I think that's one of the big business owner issues is we have this idea that everything has to be perfect and wonderful before we do anything with it. And that's just such nonsense. And I think so many great ideas can just die before they get anywhere because of that belief.
Yeah. And I will openly admit, I still struggle with this. I still feel like something has to be really good before we release it, because I feel like we're judged against that and it could damage our future reputation or whatever. But actually, in reality, I think as long as you control the expectations of what you're releasing and just say this is a proof of concept version or a prototype version or an MVP, whatever you want to call it, I think that people are understanding of that.
They do. They're very forgiving. I actually agree with you. I don't think good enough is good enough. I think it should be at the very least very, very good. So I'm kind of with you on that. But there's a big gap between perfect and very good, I think. So it's very exciting. Okay, so sorry.
Very, very small. That's the crucial realization, I think, is that we thought that something had to be very good and very big. And actually, what we're now realizing is actually something that's just quite small can still make quite a big impact.
Absolutely, it can. Yeah. Okay, so tell us about the different products that you've got, if you wouldn't mind, because you mentioned a few things there. What's the latest in the app? I think you said. Yeah.
So the app is very, very much in development. So at the moment we're working with an app developer to produce wireframes. So there's going to be clickable wireframes that really just demonstrate the concept of what this app could be. So we're looking to create a fully gamified world where young people are guided through themed journeys. So I'll give you an example. They they could be presented with a scenario where they're visiting a hospital and suddenly there's a virus outbreak. And then they're challenged with using their knowledge and their skills to help the staff of the hospital to overcome this virus outbreak. Or it could be that the village's bridge has collapsed and they've got to work with the townspeople to rebuild the bridge so that it's no longer cut off from the mainland. Or it could even be really fanciful scenarios like, launching the first manned mission to Mars and building a Mars colony, or even a zombie apocalypse and surviving.
I was just thinking zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, the classic scenario, isn't it? Real world scenarios.
Yeah.
It's important to prepare for the zombie apocalypse. You never know.
Well, everybody needs a zombie plan.
They do.
Yeah.
First
do you
of all,
have a zombie plan?
I have a zombie plan. Yeah.
What's your zombie plan?
I've got some contacts who have farms up on the Peak District. So it's get out of Sheffield, get to one of these farms where there's lots of machinery. You can dig yourself in. There's growing potential there as well. So yeah, that's my zombie plan. Get out of the populated areas into the Peak District.
Yeah, this is part of the reason we moved to the middle of nowhere. See, we used to live within walking distance of Warwick Castle, which has a trebuchet, and I was like, well, that's just perfect. We don't.
Like that. Here you go. This is a classic example of using problem-solving skills in we can't really call it a real-world scenario, but using problem-solving skills for a practical scenario.
Yes, because even if the zombies don't come, who the hell knows what's going to happen after Brexit? All hell could break loose.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay, so what else have you got out there that people can have a look at? I'll ask you for some URLs in a minute, but what else have you got out there at the moment?
Okay, yeah. So we've just launched our new offline product. So we've got the Panjango game, which is our new board game. So this is a really fun game for the family or for a classroom that gets everyone around the table just having a laugh, enjoying each other's company while they're exploring the world of work. So again, it contextualizes learning. So there are questions which, again, ask you to use your maths, English and science in practical ways. Then there are action challenges. So we get the players acting out, miming, describing things. Then there are team challenges. So all the players have to actually work together to help a player complete a particular challenge. So it's cooperative in some ways, but then it's also competitive. So there are all play challenges where you're competing against each other to be the first to complete a particular challenge. So everything, again, is exploring the world of work. Most challenges are contextualized as well. So it's putting the young people into the mind of professionals and asking how they'd respond, or asking them to do a certain thing relating to the world of work, all developing critical skills needed in the 21st century. And all the time just having fun as they play this game together as a family or as friends in a classroom.
Cool. Okay, and if they're, I know I've got loads of parents listening, so where can they buy your games?
Okay, so the Panjango game, that's just the first one. I need to talk about Panjango trumps. So they can buy them at panjango.com.
Okay.
New website. We've got an online shop on there. The Panjango game is available for $29.99.
Bargain.
And it's going to arrive in stock in about 3 days' time. So it's perfect timing to place an order now.
That is so exciting. So by the time as you're listening to this podcast, the game is out now. And I can tell you $29.99 is a bargain for a board game because they are not cheap board games.
No, independent board games are usually not priced at $29.99. So we're trying to get this out as widely as possible and get it as used by as many children as possible. So yeah, we want the cost to be as least prohibitive as possible. So yeah, the other product we've got is our Panjango Trumps range. So we've got our main pack of Panjango trumps. These are essentially career trumps. So we have 50 different trump cards which explore different careers. So in the main pack, they have a bit of job information and a fun fact about each career. And then they have ratings on the brain power, the physical effort and the social good of those careers, along with their years of study and training, their likely salary. And interesting one for this pack is the robot risk. So the risk of AI and automation on that particular job. So that's our main pack. And then we're following that up straight away up with a future jobs version of the Trumps game. So this we explore 50 jobs that don't even exist yet. So it's from Martian botanist, memory surgeon, or 4D printer, all sorts of weird and wonderful jobs that don't exist yet.
Was Martian botanist inspired by The Martian by any chance?
It is. Yeah, I love that book. Absolutely.
Brilliant, isn't it?
And that book is such a great example of contextual learning. That guy has to use his numeracy skills and his science knowledge in so many different practical ways and be really flexible in the way that he problem solves. So I absolutely love that book, and it's my intention to contact the author and actually do a collaboration, doing that scenario within the Panjango world.
Oh, amazing! So when are you going to do that? I'm going to make you put a deadline on that now. When are you going to contact him?
It's going to need to be in the app, so we're probably looking by the end of the year on that one.
Awesome, because I was going to say I really want you to come back in 6 months or so and just tell us how you're doing, because this is so exciting. And when I talk to you again in 6 months, I want to know that you have contacted Andy Weir and that you've got a thing going.
Okay, I'll do that.
Cool. So that's a public deadline.
19 bucket list.
Yes. Cool. And is there anything else that you've got going on, or can we tell people where else they can find out about you?
We're doing all sorts. We're busy launching our new products. We're going to be exhibiting widely. We're really busy on the new app, and we're hoping that we'll have that MVP out in the next few months. Cool. We're hopefully going to have some more investment to fund our ongoing plans as well. But yeah, we want people to join us on our journey. We're on a social mission. Our mission is to transform the way that young people learn. Quite a grand mission. We won't be able to do it alone. We need other people to buy into this, and to, whether it's their own children, whether it's the children they teach in schools, whether it's other people setting up businesses in the same area and trying to achieve the same lofty goals. Yeah. This isn't something we can achieve alone. So we want people to join us on our journey. Because we feel the education system is absolutely out of date and not fit for the modern world, and it needs urgent updating, and that's quite a grand project to undertake. So join us on our journey.
It is. I am so excited to hear you say that, because it's been a proper hobby horse of mine for so long. Is that it's just teachers do their best, but the system is just so outdated. So I'm really excited about this. How can, aside from going and buying your game, which everyone should do immediately, how can people get involved other than that? What can they do?
Well, first and foremost, give us a follow on social media. So we're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So follow Panjango on there so you can keep up to date and engage with us as much as possible. And then we'll be putting regular calls out for feedback on our new products as well. We want as many people to contribute to that as possible. We are recruiting at the moment, so there's a chance to join the team. We have more job opportunities coming up in the future. At the moment, we're operating on mostly a freelance basis, so we want to develop a pool of freelancers who can help us with specialist areas, in particular content writing. We're wanting children's writers to come forward as well. Could make Randy Weir there.
Yeah.
There's lots of opportunities to get involved in different ways. But yeah, we're just keen to involve as many people as possible in our journey.
Brilliant. So I'm going to put all of the links in the show notes so that everyone can kind of go find you on panjango.com, which is Panjango. And you're also on johnmaiden.wordpress.com.
Yeah, that's my personal blog, which is horrifically out of date. But I keep meaning, it needs to be another one on my 2019 bucket list. I keep meaning to get that up to date. When I'm not doing Panjango, I describe myself as a micro adventurer. So I like to try and find adventure that's low cost, easy to do, close to home. That doesn't involve going to the ends of the world and saving up for years to be able to do it. So I try and go on as many micro adventures as possible, and that blog follows my journey on that.
Well, I'm going to have you come back to talk about that as well. Right. So next time we talk, 6 months, we're gonna make this appointment in a minute. After the podcast is finished. I want you to say that you've been updating micro adventures, because part of the reason that I would like you to do that is because people are going to be really interested in the background of your business and your game as well, and so how it's been made, the struggles that you've had, all of the the backstory that goes with it. And I think if you get into the habit of writing journaling about that, I think it will only help with your mission.
Yeah, it's definitely something I need to do more. It's just write more for people to read and follow our journey.
Definitely, because you've certainly got one person here wanting to hear all about it. So cool. Okay, John, thank you so much. This has been a really great interview. It's been really fascinating. You're going to come back in 6 months, whether you like it or not. And and as for everybody listening, go buy the game. Go buy the game. If you've got kids, if you haven't got kids, if you haven't got kids, give it to someone with kids. Go and buy the game at panjango.com. Go follow them on social media, and just really, I don't know, just do good things in the world, change the world is all I've got to say to that. In the meantime, I'll be back same time next week. What's going on in Superheroes Land is the usual. My new book is going to be coming out on the 19th of March, so you can hop on my daily emails and keep an eye on that, vickyfraser.com. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please share it and rate it 5 stars. Just rate it 5 stars and review it. And I will see you same time next week. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.